Hey everyone, this is Kate Johnson, and I am excited to be here today. We're going to talk about Asana and workflows and keeping ourselves sane. And we have Alyssa Lang here, who has, I like to call the workflow queen. She's the workflow queen, and she's going to teach us all about it because I can tell y'all, I know zero about it. I have never even logged on. I just know I'm to the point where I need some sort of a workflow tool. And Alyssa is the expert. We have just met online, and she is a virtual bookkeeper as well. She has her own practice, but she has developed an expertise in this process management and is kind of developing another side hustle on how to teach other accountants and bookkeepers how to do this. So welcome, Alyssa. We're glad you're here.
Yay.
Yeah, so give us the 30-second, 1 minute version of who you are, where you come from, like pre-Asana, and then
Yeah.
how you became the workflow queen as well.
Sure. Yeah. So I actually started out naturally as a bartender, moved into accounting and bookkeeping, fell in love with it, actually started as a tax preparer, and then someone asked me to do their bookkeeping. I did it, fell in love. I absolutely love doing it. I still handle that side of the business as well. But I started to struggle with where my client load was, especially during tax season with the amount of volume that I have. It was really hard not knowing where's what, where did the pieces of paper go, what did somebody say, and then bringing on bookkeeping clients and then try to do the marketing and try to do everything in the whole entire world and wear these millions of hats. So I took so much time into trying to figure out the best way for me to lay it all out. And I've tried everything from ClickUp to Jetpack Workflow to possibly anything. But then I found Asana, and Asana was really overwhelming because it's a blank slate. But once I kind of got the hang of it, fell in love with it. And then I realized after already helping other individuals within this industry that this was something that a lot of us aren't very good at, because nothing teaches us how to figure it all out. Nothing is a recurring project management system. And so I kind of found my way into it. And now I just want to help others in my industry to figure it out.
Okay. So that's awesome. Well, I'm glad to have you here. We're just going to dive right into the Asana talk. I know you and we've talked on the phone here a couple times in the past, and we could talk forever, but let's just dive right into Asana. Let's go with, so what are the challenges that you typically notice for bookkeepers and accountants when it comes to creating workflows and streamlining their work?
I think it's where to start is the number one thing. A lot of the times we're looking at these softwares and these platforms, hoping for the aha, giving me, the setup and the workflow and the management. At the end of the day, you have to be able to sit down and decide what you do. And that's where our struggle is because we're looking for somebody to just tell us how to do it versus whenever you're doing something, write it down, write anything down, whether you're starting a course or if you're taking care of a monthly bookkeeping at the very end of your month end, you're doing your closeout, record it all. Because the problem is we try to reinvent the wheel every single month, every bi-weekly, and that is just, I've seen it from all types. I've been there. And I recreated in the year-end closing. You don't even know what you did last year.
I know. Well, I don't know what I do I forget what I do from month to month to a particular client, because there's no client that's the exact same. Like,
nope.
How do I log on? How do I download that report?
Yep. Yeah. That's the main struggle that I see is that it's not writing, and every client is different. And that is the hardest part about our industry. And that's why none of these project management systems work for us, because nobody is the same that we work with, unfortunately.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why we need it. And I can tell all of y'all who are maybe on the newer side, who maybe don't have clients yet or something, like, you're going to get there. So if anyone's coming to this as early on in the side hustle dream, just know that, mark this video, you are going to need it, because I intentionally don't have a lot of clients. My practice is small. It's just the way I want it. And you would think that oh no, I'm small enough to not need this. And at my level, especially just in 2020, I get sick of having to, the inertia of every month sitting down and refiguring it all out. So
you're readjusting. You're taking that mental 2 to 3 hours sometimes try to remember what you're doing, and you
Right.
just wasted 3 hours of billable time.
Yep.
But even as, like you were saying, as someone who's new, this is the best time to get on top of this. Because
Okay.
trust me, I've worked with people who've done it for 20 years and they came to me and had me rebuild everything. Those are hard. Those are hard to
Okay.
build because they've got 20 years of stuff right up here. So starting now, and even with Asana, they have a free one. You could just throw whatever you possibly can, even if it's your marketing strategy, even if you want to post on Instagram, give yourself a
Oh,
little checklist. And it's super easy to just template it and just throw it in. That's what I do. And I have a course content that I follow, and I utilize my Asana. You could start now, and I tell people all the time, do it while you can, while you're uh, so micro,
yeah.
because eventually when you get up to here, that is 10 times harder for you to find the time to make it happen. So document everything,
Yes.
everything. Even if you don't have clients, make it up. Pretend you're a client and do something.
Okay. Okay. So what can a tool like Asana do for us when it comes to project management? Kind of explain it. Like I said, I have never
Yeah.
even logged on. I've heard a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah.
So what is it supposed to do?
Okay, so it's actually supposed to be project-based. That's how Asana was originally built. It was built to do, you have this physical thing and you have an end date of when you need to complete it. Unfortunately, for what we do, that doesn't work for us. So it's, with Asana, because it's such a blank slate, you can actually manipulate it to work for you. So creating clients that have a specific service, retemplating it across the next client that comes on, and then adjusting. So Asana, like I said, was originally something that was from start date to end date, but we don't have that type of work. So it's working around those types of little things. But Asana, they have board views, list views. There's a lot of premium features, which are like form fills, which I actually use for my tax practice. There's a lot of different features that they have, but because it's a blank slate, you do have to build from scratch, and that's the overwhelming part, but also
Okay.
the beauty of it, because you can manipulate it, and that's the best part.
Okay. So I think we're going to kind of get into like a little bit more of those details in a second. My mind's kind of exploding, but I'm just going to work down the questions that I have. So what level of a bookkeeper, accountant, side hustler, tax pro, what level do we have to use with Asana? Is this free? Because I kind of get sick of whenever I'm, starting my business and I know that I'm not looking to make 10 grand a month. Like, so if I'm nickel and dime to death by like $20 here, $20 here, $20 here, I'm not a fan. So are there levels? Surely there are.
Yes.
What do we do with that?
So there's the free, and then they have a premium, and they also have a business. I actually went as far as business for myself, but I just downgraded probably 2-3 days ago back to premium, because that is just for even me. I was like, that's too much. Like, there is a fine line, and I've got a lot going on, and for someone like me who's managing many different types of things, to go from a business to premium, you could get away with that, and you can also get away with free. The only difference between free and your premium versions is little tiny things, but things that are tiny enough that if used right can tremendously help you out. For example, for premium features, you can create columns for stages, like of when you e-file when the invoice has been paid, so you can visually see this is where the phases are versus clicking into it. Those come in handy, but a lot of times you can get away with the free version and just work it to how you need it. And there's still so much. You can't pre-template things with free, but there's ways around it. With premium, you can template, but with free, there's so many different things that you can do, just creating tasks called template and just copying that same task. That's your way around it. It's knowing how to work around it. That's the fun part.
So how much is premium?
So the premium, they do by seats. I'm hearing within the Asana community that they're trying to come out with like a solopreneur type of Asana, which you're not really necessarily paying for seats, because right now you're paying for me, you, let's say you were my employee, or I have another contractor or a marketer who wants to jump on my team, that becomes 4 seats. So you're paying for each seat, but it's in you can't pay for less than 5 seats. So for example, I believe that my premium was $42.95
A
for
month.
premium. Yes, and that was for a month. And then I got my first month for free, somehow managed a second month for free. I don't even know how it even happened. I always suggest to people, start with free. Just do free. And then if you can, upgrade to premium once you think there might be something that you like. If you figure it out, keep it. If not, go back to free. And they are super easy to jump from stages.
And when you say the word seat, that is, it's like a user within an Asana ecosystem.
Yep, like a team member.
So selfishly, I was thinking about this call today and being so excited, and I was thinking about I need Asana in my life.
Yes.
And so if I wanted to have one for my business, and my husband is not going to be interested in seeing all that, but like, let's say I have stuff for personal, my family and my church, and like, we're dividing up like I don't even know. Do I have to have 2 Asanas or no?
Nope, that's why I love Asana. Okay. I have one because I technically own 2 businesses. One is this Workflow Queen, and the second one is the actual bookkeeping practice that I have.
Okay.
So and then I have my personal life. So what I've done is you can create, they're called teams. And this is the thing, your mind starts to go towards these words. So they call things projects when like you need to shift your mindset and teach yourself it's not a project is a client. Teams aren't necessarily teams, but departments of your business or departments of your life. So there's multiple teams, and you can add as many teams as you want and add your employees to them. So teams don't affect your seat number. Seat number is a number of individuals who are on your team working with you. So marketers, say you have a VA or you have another bookkeeper who works with you. Okay. Those are seats. But I have a team for my bookkeeping practice. I have a team for the workflow practice. And then I have a team for personal. Then I have a team for like random little things that I just throw in there. But you can, if you need to use Asana, you can. It all pulls into my tasks. So if you have multiple things that you're working on, maybe you have an HR department, or maybe you have your main bookkeeping practice, it all pulls into your tasks. So you still know what's going on in your personal life, what's going on in your business, what's going on your side business, and maybe what's going on at the PTA program that you do for your kids.
Yeah. All right. So, I gotta step it back. So here we go. So I don't have an HR department. I don't let's think smaller. Yep. I do have someone who I had to bring on to help me with an e-commerce client that I was in over my head on. So I have my first subcontractor. Mm-hmm. Now, do I need to have premium if she and I are going to have one of our, I'm guessing our project is this particular client. So if she and I are wanting to use Asana to help manage that, I by definition have to have premium.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Bring with the let me take that back, because I thought there was just one on free. There's ways to do free with a seat. I'm trying to think right now. Sorry, I'm like doing my brain thinking. But I believe it, even if you downgrade, you can bring a team, but I believe you pay for the seat. I'd have to double check on that. I could definitely get back. But I know that you could bring people on as free, because yes, you can. You can use free as many seats. You just can't use the premium features. But the premium feature requires you to pay for so many seats. But you can bring on 3 staff members, 4 staff members into a free account and assign them.
And you are married, right? So do you have your family members on your personal Asana?
No, I don't. Only he's a roofer, and trust me,
okay.
He's not his life. He is not about Asana. He's like Asana. He hears about it all the time, but I personally don't. I did have a VA at one point that I actually brought on to the team. I'm actually bringing on a bookkeeper at this point to help me with that side. So when I bring her on, she's going to do it. But also I have premium. But I do know, now that I'm going backwards, you can have multiple team members on a free account. You just can't utilize. I think there's locking features is what happens, where you can't dedicate them specifically to a certain thing, but you can still assign them to only a client. Because sometimes you may have your whole entire, every single client, 10 of them, but you're only bringing on that person for one project, which is
yes.
so you can assign them to that. You can hide all your other ones, and you can actually only assign them to one. So they only see what you want them to see.
So this is awesome. I think this is a great time for me to toss in a link to your free Facebook group, because I think everything I'm hearing is I'm gonna have to hear it like 5 times to sink in. So I'm gonna need to be, here's the link. She has a Facebook group where I'm guessing there'll be like screenshots and support, and she's trying to be, this is a free group for us people who have maybe a thick skull like me, who have to figure out what a seat is and a team is and all that. So and I'm sure that once like I said, I haven't used it yet, and I bet a lot of this stuff, usually once your hands are dirty in it, it starts to make a little more sense. But so yeah, everyone is invited to this Facebook group that she's doing just out of the goodness of her heart to share this knowledge. And so I encourage that. I will definitely be joining. I'm not for sure that Asana is going to work for me, but I'm hopeful because I need something. I definitely need something.
Yeah, and to be honest, I tell a lot of people that just because I mostly work with Asana doesn't mean that the concepts are still the same across ClickUp, across Jetpack. There are things that they're lacking that Asana is stronger at, but the tool will always be in different forms. But it's the foundation that you need to lay out, the working out your workflows, laying out your systems, auditing your business to see where the hell you're at. Like, because at the end of the day, you're just working. You're not tracking your time. You're not really seeing where you're spending your time, which then again could turn into your workflows and help you to build on that. So your foundations, Asana isn't something that you have to use. It's the foundation that you need to do. And I teach a lot of that mindset, the mindset concept within my group too, because a lot of times it's not about the tech. It's about where you're starting.
Right. I mean, for someone like me, I've never had workflows very well. So in anything. So this will be, it's kind of like a life skill. So very cool. All right. So how much time can we save by being an Asana queen or princess? You're the queen.
Maybe a little different.
We'll be the prince and princesses.
Right? It honestly depends. I mean, I've seen people save 10 hours a week. And the only reason I say that and even put it in there, and I know that you can actually save more time, so I'd rather keep the number a little bit on the lower side. You could save a lot of time first couple weeks, maybe the first month, not so much. And the only reason why is because you have to build it. You have to be in it. And I'm not saying specifically Asana. That's where templates come in and where you do what you got to do. You got to put in the work to save yourself that time.
So we're back, and you were, let me try to remember, I had a freak out. Where were we? We were time saved utilizing the tool, right?
There we go, time. I don't know what you heard last, but pretty much time at the end of the day. It's how much work you put in at the very beginning. You have to invest your time to get time back. So as long as you're setting up your foundations, that's where, like I said, templates come in. That's where the proper guidance comes in to be able to build these things, because it's a headache. Trust me, I've been there. I've done that. I think I went back to Asana almost 3 times before I finally clicked in it and I got it. And now I have Asana dreams. So I do, and it's really sad. I'll be planning out how I'm gonna fix it all up, and then I get really excited. My boyfriend's like, "What are you excited about?" I'm like, "I just figured it out." He's like, "You're so crazy."
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
So we can save a lot of time, but so I think this is actually a perfect example of how I think the whole accounting and bookkeeping world is, and I try to emphasize this, is that so everything about this job, y'all, I think this particular type of work, bookkeeping, accounting, tax prep, is hard at first. And so I worry that there are people in my group that are in my community, and they're looking for a side hustle because they need $2,000 to buy a new car or pay the deductible for something like this. So not only is workflow management not something that is a quick buck, a quick payoff, neither is this whole line of work. So if what Alyssa is saying, if you're thinking, man, this is for the birds, I'm not cut out to blood, sweat, and tears for the first month or two to get to that point of smooth sailing, then you're also not cut out for bookkeeping and tax prep and learning accounting.
Yep.
You do not do this job, do not do this work if you're not willing to
put in the time,
learn accounting. And you know what? It takes a long time to
one.
It takes
Learn
a long
for sure.
It takes a long time to learn accounting, and people
Yeah.
try to do it without learning accounting. I mean, and people go to college for years for this, and I don't think you have to go to college for years for this, but there's sort of like a minimum level. And if you just need $2,000, call me or send me a message, and I've got some ideas for you. But it's not bookkeeping.
I was hoping you were going to say you'd give the 2,000. I'm like, oh
no.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly, right. All my mighty book sales just put out. No. So this is. So, I mean, part of me is like, it's kind of annoying to hear what you're saying about like, oh my gosh, it's going to be like that heavy lifting.
Yep.
But it's just making me think like, that's been my whole experience with my bookkeeping business now. And you know what? Now I've signed 2 clients this month. And now like my billing for my invoices for February are more than they have ever been. But you know what? Like there was a lot of, I mean, most of the months were not like that. Like this is, it's hard to do well. It's hard to do right. But I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and like those clients that I have brought on, like last year, the pain is gone, you know?
Yeah.
And
then even to go back to that, even your onboarding, because a lot of times what we struggle with being new, I remember how it was like, I don't even know how to plan out onboarding because I've never onboarded until I landed almost, I think it was like 3 or 4 clients all at one time. And I was like, I have to get this together. I have to do it now.
Yeah.
And so I had no choice. So the first one, I was like, I'm recording this. I'm going to write it down. And I just threw it in Asana. It was not organized. It was so ugly. I can't even tell you. And then the magic happened. And then I had to fix it. And then it was boom, boom, boom. And the last 2 were like, click, click, click. And I was just like so excited because it was all like keeping me on track and making sure every single T was crossed and all the I's were dotted. Like, because at the end of the day, I literally like can't stand the idea of my client being lost. But it took me to put something into place. And it doesn't have to be super scary. You don't need to put in 2-3 months of your time. When I'm saying you have to put in time is to design it how your mind likes it. Because at the end of the day, if you like colors, God forbid, put some damn colors in there. Unfortunately for me, I have to have color. If I don't, I mean, look at this. These are too much color for me sometimes. Like I have to have it. Like, and Asana was that for me, but it's really bad. I have like cards that I put and I designed them in Canva to throw up there, but you don't need to put months and months of your time. It's just getting something out there and throw it there so you can try to follow it. Every time you follow it, you'll see your holes and you'll figure out what you're doing wrong and you could throw it in there and then fix it, then beautify.
Well,
try to do everything.
Yeah, and onboarding is such a good example of like talk about like the inertia, because I mean, at least with the like accounting side, like if I don't have a good workflow, you know, and if it's like maybe a smaller client who I'm not in very often, I'm just, you know, maybe at the end of the month doing something, but 30 days have gone by, and so my brain has to kind of like, it's like the wheels are rusty. But with onboarding, it's like 1,000 times worse if you if you have the side hustling mentality, because you're not, like last year I wanted to bring on 3 clients, and each onboard was as, you know, maybe not as equally hard as the one before, but probably like 90% as hard as the one before, because they were months apart. So
you got to set up the PayPal or whatever you have to get set up on their bank account. You got to be able to remember, how did I set it up and give the instructions for Bank of America? How did I set up Wix? How did I grab reports? Where do I tell them to go to? Trust me. Been there, done that. And that onboarding is the #1 thing that most people that have worked with me to set up their Asana have asked me to do, is I need to make sure my onboarding is on point. Because it's a massive project on its own. And it is start to finish. That is the one thing that we actually do, that's start to finish. And once you're done, then you have your recurring tasks, which is your biweekly, you know, coding of your transactions, your normal bookkeeping. But the onboarding is the project itself, and it's very overwhelming. And even for side hustlers, you've got to get it down now. For even one client or before you have a client, try to figure it out. Try to find out.
Awesome. All right, I got another question here. So
Yeah.
it can't all be roses. So tell us some of the ups and downs of Asana.
So,
Why that over other tools?
yep.
Talk about that.
Sure. So the ups and downs, definitely it has its ins and outs. The one thing I do not like about Asana is that you cannot see, there's your parent task, and then if you have subtasks within your parent task, each project has its own calendar. So I call projects clients. So
Okay.
client A has a calendar, which I can look at where they're at on their calendar of the tasks I need to do, which is beautiful, but they don't have subtask lists. So if you have a parent task of gather bank statements, but you have subtasks of log into bank, you have all 10 of them because you want to bring on a team eventually. So they could follow those steps, and you assign dates for specific parts of it. It won't show up on your calendar on the actual clients, but the only way that it will show up on your calendar as subtasks is in the massive My Tasks in Asana. So that's the one downfall. The other downfall is I don't like that. How do I explain this? I put a lot of comments. I create client cards, so that way every time I bring on a client, I know everything about them, little tiny nuances like they love cats or something, things like
Sure.
their birthday or something to remind me. I send out birthday cards, so I put that kind of stuff on there. I don't like that I can't see it until I go to my master calendar, and you have to assign it to yourself. And the reason they do it, it is a downfall when you're a solopreneur because everything that you're assigning is essentially your duty until you bring on a team. And that's why Asana did that, was so that way it would trigger to the right person. But the downfall of it is I can't search, not search, I'm sorry. I can't, there's something that drives me nuts about Asana, and I'm like trying to remember what it is right now. It's the comments. You can't necessarily see them until you're actually in the task.
Okay.
So there are some downfalls, but that's like with anything. For example, I don't like ClickUp because when you do a subtask and you create a date, if you tick off the parent task, it won't recreate the date for the subtask. With Asana, it holds forever the dates that you choose and switches it to the right one to extend to the right date. That's a good thing, but every system has something wrong. So yes, there are problems.
And I guess some of the stuff you're saying, I think is, sounds fairly technical, and we'll have to just get in there. But it's making me think of something. So your clients aren't a part of your Asana situation,
No.
are they? Okay, all right.
No.
I have been trying to follow something Seth David recommended, which was using Slack for communication with clients. But this sounds like this is different. So
yeah, you can integrate Slack with your Asana.
Oh, really?
Tasks. So you can communicate, let's talk here, communicate your tasks to your clients. So that way, like, those tasks can be triggered over to them, where they just kind of see it as like a laid out question type thing. There are ways to integrate. For example, there's ways around using Asana. Like I said, you can manipulate it. For example, for me, I have client Google Drives. That's how I have them upload all their tax documents and whatever. So I create a card in Asana, so then I always have that link right there. So at any time, because God forbid, every damn week someone tells me I can't find my Google Drive link, boom, I got to set it up and send it to them. Versus, guess what? If you don't have Asana or something set up, what do you have to do? Go find it in your Google Drive. You have to find the folder. Where did I put it? Oh my God. So instead, pull up the client card, boom, here's all the notes. There are a lot of downfalls. But Asana, I don't know if people here are actual fans, but they take what people say and they apply it. And that is why I stick with Asana, because they are forever changing and they don't stop. They will always listen to you. And that's the one thing.
Okay. So I want to try to dive into an example of what I'm seeing, like a potential client. You say a client is a project, and like say there's a project, like I always have to ask my clients a few questions about a few transactions. So every month it's like, these 5 transactions I need more info on, whatever. I'm trying to think how I could maybe integrate it with Slack. If one of my tasks is ask about the unknown transactions, could I like put the payees like and the date maybe underneath my item or my task of find out about unknown transactions, put it in there and then push that to Slack, like a little list?
See, the thing is, I don't use Slack. So I
Okay. Okay.
can't really, it's really hard. But what I'm taking with what you're saying, one way that I would probably take this specific situation, if you use Slack, that's what you got to do. You got to figure out that Slack situation. But for me specifically, I have a task that's called Send AMA Report, which is a monthly task, and it's recurring, that sends the Ask My Accountant report, which I change up a little bit. And it's already pre-computed onto a Google Drive document that I have a link set in that specific Asana task that specifically, if they clicked on it, would go into that specific Google sheet. And each sheet has a tab for each month that I'm asking.
Yes, of course.
And that means, guess what? If the IRS comes back to me 3 years later and they say to the business owner, why'd you say this? Well, my bookkeeper did it. Well, here's the report with each tab for every month of your responses. So I use my Asana to hold the link for the Google Drive, and every single time I email them that link, and they just fill it out.
How are you getting your Ask My Accountant list into that Google Drive? That's not automated, is it?
No. You have to actually download it. Yeah,
I gotcha. Okay, cool. I was just like, what is that?
Yeah.
I have the same
I know,
concept
right? What did you figure out?
of a growing Google sheet with like a new month is each.
Yeah, I just drag and drop it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So there are some downsides, everybody. Full disclosure. You want to share an example of how you've been able to streamline your business without reinventing the wheel?
Yeah. So onboarding, I always go back to onboarding because it is something that all of us do. For onboarding, I have, from step one, from when they first have their initial contact with me, I have my sales processes. Actually, that's a really good one. Let me just go to sales. I have created a sales funnel project within Asana that I actually put into board view. And the reason why is because I can see it shift across the sales funnel. So what happens is I have in my board view, I have a picture, and that specific picture is like instructions for this thing. So I can remember how to use it. And also when I bring on staff, I already have pre-instructions. So when a new client comes in, I copy my template, which is just a task that I just called template client. And it already has all the descriptions that I need, the specific things that I need to write down about them, their name, their business, how they originally contacted me, the Calendly link, their responses to the Calendly. It holds everything.
Oh my goodness.
Person. Then I tag that person, and that tag will eventually, if they become a client, you'll understand why. If I use that same tag across all projects, I'll be able to pull up any project I've ever done for them and any communication. That's what I love about it. So I tag it, and so this person comes in, they call me or they schedule a Calendly link to set up a time to talk to me. So they set up this time, I put them in a portion of it. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up. I put a little portion, I move across the board from the first contact. And then when they schedule the call, I move them, that person, I move them physically over to call one scheduled. As soon as that first call is complete, do a call one complete. Then I have a section that you just keep moving across. It's just like a sales funnel. You got to think of it like that. Then after I do my phone call, if this is a bookkeeping cleanup job, I have to do a diagnostic review. So my next phase is do a diagnostic review, and that has its own task that tells me what to do to get the diagnostic review, because they're not my client yet. I'm just doing a review to eventually land them. So it's just really going through. I'm trying to pull it up right now. So call one complete, performed a diagnostic review. It lists all my tasks, proposals that I need to put together so I can remember what I need to put together. I sent out. The main thing that I see is what you send out 5 proposals. Obviously, probably only 2 of them will respond. You send out 5 of them, you can't even remember who you sent out to, what you sent out. Instead, you keep yourself accountable and you have a board view. So you're seeing all your proposals that have been sent out, and then when they're moving down its phase, accepted, rejected, or no response. So then you could remind yourself, I need to go check in on that person and see what's going on. Then I have one that says invoice created, because they obviously agreed, and I sent in all this stuff. And as soon as they hit the last phase, they're done in my funnel page, and I just drag them into my client's project, and they become my client.
Okay.
And then from there, I follow the right instructions, and it's all done for me. I just have to sit here and look at the pretty little colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I'll just go with one more question, because you've given us, you've just given us so much, but I always want to keep taking this back to the person who's wanting a bookkeeping side hustle, maybe not
Yep.
wanting to maybe they love their 9 to 5.
Yep.
Maybe they, they're going to retire in 2 years, but they're going to slowly build. So
Yeah.
that's the audience that I try to really keep
Yep.
in mind. And so, so team of one, I guess just any last things to say about how, because there's been a part of me has been thinking about the way you're talking, like, 5 proposals out, like, yeah, never. I mean, that's
That's
well,
just an example.
at least not now, and not up to this point. I think my husband would leave me if I ever tried to do that. Like, because I can just envision like what it would feel like to try to do that.
Yeah.
And so for someone like me, like how is this going to be what I need? What are like the first 1 or 2 things that maybe I could do to implement Asana to where it's not so overwhelming?
Yep.
And then I could see it grow, just like my bookkeeping business has grown, where I'm getting better and better. I know more and more. I've trained slowly. I watch YouTube videos occasionally. That's how I've kind of grown.
Yeah.
So give like maybe, here it is. What is, like, if someone is a side hustler and they're going to dip their toe into Asana, what are your like top 2 tips for how to start?
First, start with a template. If it's a template project, if you only do bookkeeping, create one master one that you can always duplicate. That's throw in all the tasks that you know that you have to do. And obviously you're going to keep improving that template because you're going to forget things until you're doing them. Throw in the dates. And when you have a client, add them. You can have one client. You got to remember, I'm barely bringing on a team member. I have been doing this for almost 4 years in September.
Okay.
I've done this alone. So I know what it's like to be a side hustler because that's how I started. And
Yeah.
I needed a side hustle with something to keep track of things up here. You can do it with one person. It's free if you do the free version. If you're just a side hustler, but you want to remember when you need to get something in, so you're not reinventing the wheel, one, create a master project. If you only do bookkeeping, like I said, create one that you could just copy over. And then when you have a new client, even if it's just one, use that template.
Okay.
And all you got to do is recreate it, put in the right dates, shift your dates, and shift your stuff. Sometimes for me, I don't even add dates to my templates. Instead, I put in parentheses by the side of the task. Typically for me, 10th of the month is when I want to have everything reconciled.
Yep.
Yeah. So I do Reconcile Accounts. On my template, I just put in parentheses and not actually give it a due date. Just say due by 10th of month. So that whenever I go and when I get a client and I go to copy that template and I put the client's name instead of template and I add in all the things, I now have that note of what dates I need to put everything. So instead of, that's when I set all the dates. And so that's what I do. So if I could give any advice at all, it would be create a template, use your template, and always go back to it and always improve because you will never stop improving.
Okay.
It will change.
It's really cool. Y'all who are new, she talks about how she dreams in Asana. Well, if you're becoming an entrepreneur, you're also going to have maybe not so lovely dreams as she's talking about, but you're going to have nightmares about, like, I didn't run payroll, or I disconnected all of my the client's bank accounts, whatever. I mean, it's like these uncomfortable dreams that everyone will have. And I'm envisioning like Asana being able to like help with that. So like when you get to that phase where you're starting to have uncomfortable dreams about dropping something,
that's because you're overwhelmed.
Specifically, I'm thinking about like payroll tasks. Like if anyone is helping with that, I mean, that's just that's like nightmare inducing. So you have to, this would be a great way to just say, no, like I can trust this. It's gonna ping me or turn a different color. Yeah,
it's gonna. And here's the thing. Building your Asana or building any project manager, ClickUp or anything, utilize it in a way that at the end of the day, you have a bird's eye view of where everything's at, whether it's one client or 2 clients or parts of that client, payroll, bookkeeping, maybe you do their taxes. Let's just say you do 3 different things, 3 different departments for them. You need to sit back and look at it and mentally check out every day, because trust me, I could work all day, every day because I love what I do, bookkeeping or workflow. But utilizing a project management system lets you visually see what you got going on and say at the end of your day, you know what, I accomplished this, and tomorrow this is what I'm going to tackle. So you don't have crazy dreams.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, I have another question. So sometimes another kind of uncomfortable spot I get in is if I'm having like one-off communication between a client, like say it's like a random day of the month and someone emails me and is like, well, no one's done this, but it'll be a good example. Like I bought a truck or something. I don't know. And I'm not in the zone. Maybe they texted me on like a Saturday night. Like, do I use Asana as like a tickler almost, where
you're getting me really excited right now because I know what you're saying.
So that's what I like, or maybe they're sending me
a text
or
a
text or something, but that's gonna require a task, potentially just a one-off task. Like, to me that's still kind of like, is it workflow or is it like a task? Is it like a checklist? Does Asana help with that?
I know exactly what you're talking about because as a tax preparer, I swear to God, I get text messages from my clients, and then I get Facebook messages from that same client. Then they email me, and then they upload stuff, and then they I don't even know what they do. I don't even know how anymore. I got to the point where that was the reason why I got into Asana, is what you're talking about. And it was so overwhelming trying to figure out, oh, they told me they had a baby on Facebook, but then they texted me and told me they bought a truck. But then they, all these different, and I couldn't remember what everybody did. There's extensions in Gmail and a lot of different email providers that extend with Asana. So if you're in your Asana and you don't want to get distracted by going into your Asana and writing everything down, if you're in Gmail, your client texts you and says, I just bought a new asset, new truck. You can add an add-on to Asana that's linked to your account that can automatically create a task in your Gmail to push to your Asana without you having to break your concentration and move to Asana. They have apps. So for me, when people decide to text me random crap, I just go and copy that text and throw it into their client card inside of Asana. And then I forever have every communication from every avenue pulled into one card. That's the client card.
This is awesome.
There's ways. The thing is, Asana doesn't teach that. Asana doesn't tell you these things. So that's why it's so.
We need you.
Because that's the thing. Once you figure it out, share it with the world.
Okay. Hey, there's someone named Linda Hansen on here. Linda, hi. You are chiming in with some really cool, like, you and Alyssa need to buddy up. Linda, make sure you join her group because she looks like a good pro person, Alyssa. But I've appreciated some of the stuff that you've asked. I should have asked this a long time ago. Does anyone have any questions? Certainly mine aren't the only ones. So chime in now if you have any questions. And so I've shared the link to there's a Facebook group, Workflows in Asana for Bookkeepers and Accountants. I put it in this video and our Take One video. Also, I want to share the Workflow Queens site. So Alyssa has developed an expertise. She's been hired to do this stuff already for lots of firms, and this is something that you could consider as well. I'm putting the link right here, sorry. So, and it's launching, she's done beta so far, and it's launching March 16th. But there's a pre-sale. I'll let her talk about it. But there's going to be a discount for our bookkeeping side hustle group too. So I put the link in the Facebook group or in this message right now. But what's the story with if we want more than the free group?
Yeah. So the reason I put the course together was because I found that a lot of the people that I talked to who were just solopreneurs, but really just wanted to get it all figured out, couldn't really necessarily afford a high ticket price where it's very one-on-one, where I'm actually doing the physical work for them. So I found that a lot of people in our industry are struggling with this. So I wanted to teach it to everybody. So the course is geared towards, for this specific first round of the course, the people who are part of the first one, I will have a 30-day challenge included, and that's with a private Facebook group, and that's to help out people to keep you on track, because I know how solopreneurs are. We just let it sit on our virtual course shelf. But this course is really to help people use the templates that I use. I'm actually going to be sharing all that stuff, my onboarding templates, my sales process templates, my client card templates, all the things that unfortunately we go to look for all these things and nobody's willing to give. It's teaching the mindset, analyzing where you're at, and then utilizing something like a private Facebook group that's aside from my original group that's geared towards keeping you on track, doing lives, doing questions and answers. Because obviously at the end of the day, people are going to have tons of questions about Asana in general, but it's not necessarily geared to only be used in Asana. Yes, the templates, unfortunately, but there are mindset type things and you can apply it in ClickUp or whatever way, but the templates aren't going to be built for, because that's not my expertise.
Okay.
Specifically. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so yeah, as this comes out, we've got, you know, about a week and 2.5 weeks before her course fully goes live. If you're wanting to get it now, there's a link here, and we'll get, so the discount code is all caps, right? Side hustle.
Side hustler.
Side, shoot.
One word.
Side hustler. I'll delete that old one. Is the discount code. How much of a discount is it?
So for the pay in full, it's 100 off. And then if you do the payments, because I understand that people need to make payment plans, the payment plans is 25 off each payment.
Okay.
For the recurring one, it's only a 3-month payment plan. If you need to reach out and work something else out, I put my contact information at the very bottom. The private Facebook group, the access for that will be March 9th, and it's before, because I want to get people excited about it. I want them to start, even if they can, explore Asana, so they know what to ask and what to look for and where to start.
Okay.
And then the course is gonna, like I said, the course will be accessible for life, and anybody can purchase it 3, 4, 5 months from now. But this first round of people will be a part of the only challenge that I'm going to do for this, which is going to be focused on making sure that they get it done, because we all know we have no attention span and we're in mid-tax season and crazy time. No time is a good time. And unfortunately, having a group is a good way. I mean, I hear it all the time. It's tax season. I'm like, guess what? There's always going to be a season.
Right. Because then it goes to tax extensions and business tax, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited for you. I think we've probably gotten enough. We'll have to bring you back on because I think this is the type of thing that, like, again, we have to get our hands dirty, and then we're going to have to ask you questions. But everyone,
I'd love to do a physical and run you guys through it. So we'll have to plan something, and I could show people physically what it looks like to work in it.
So again, it's Alyssa, Alyssa, Lynn, Lynn Lang is what she goes by on Facebook. So tag her. She'll ask questions here, and I encourage y'all to join her Facebook group. I'm going to be doing it right after this call, and we'll all be able to help each other figure this out, especially us kind of tech-averse people. It's so funny that you were like, you were getting so pumped when I was like talking about like
because I'm like,
I'm like, the world takes.
I hate that feeling. I hated it.
I'm glad people like you get excited about that.
I do. I'm like, keep talking. I know what you're gonna say.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to wrap this up right now.
Yeah.
I so appreciate your time. I know it's
same to you.
On the West Coast, and we are going to stay in close touch because we'll all need some hand holding. So thank you so. All right. Take care. I'm going to end this.
Thank you so much.
I can figure this out. All right. Bye.
Bye.